Our guest today is very dear to my heart. Jennifer Matthews is an intuitive healer based in Los Angeles and New York, who I've personally been seeing since the ripe old age of 19. I am delighted to share with you her unique set of abilities today on Fancy Friends. Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for coming over.
Thank you. Fancy Friends, I love
that. So, when did you know that you had a special gift?
Believe it or not, it was when I moved to New York. And I think it was because all of a sudden I was sharing energy fields with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I look back, I realize that I was sensitive from day one, pretty much. But I just didn't have the consciousness at that time to realize it. Most of us, as with most of us, I didn't have family support. You know, my family thought I was just sensitive and needed to get thicker skin.
Yeah.
But now that I look back, I see that I was sensitive from day one, basically.
And now I bet you see that a lot in your clients. I know you saw it with me, that thick skin that you have to build to sort of survive. And you really show people how to shed that and to thrive.
Right.
And I remember my first session with you. I was sitting in kind of the waiting area, and you were finishing up with a client, and I could remember hearing her saying, "Wow, I have no idea what just happened, but that was amazing." And I thought to myself, okay, well, that's promising.
That's a good sign.
Right? And then I went in for our session, and sure enough, we finished, and I thought, wow, I have no idea what just happened, but that was amazing. So what happened? What is intuitive healing?
Well, we're so much more than just our physical body. We also, around us, we have other bodies around us that we can't see. So we have something that ties to our emotional self, our mental self, our spiritual self. We have what's called an astral body. That's what we use when we dream at night. We have a causal body, which is like our bigger energy body. So there's our physical body is just and our physical 3D existence is so tiny. There's so much more going on with us. So a lot of what I do is start to open you up to those other parts of yourself, the other dimensions of yourself, the divine part of yourself, and it's just like blows people's mind because they think they're just this physical body moving through the world in this 3D experience, but there's so much more than that.
And what do you find that you provide for your clients? What do your clients come out of a session with?
Well, I think they come out with a lot of tools. And mostly they come out with a shifted consciousness, right? So the biggest thing I like to teach people is self-responsibility. I want people to understand that they need to focus on what they can control, which is themselves. If we try to control other people, situations, things outside of ourselves, all that's going to do is create a pattern of disempowerment within ourselves, and it's going to suck and drain all of our energy. So what I help people do is kind of turn their focus back inward and take responsibility in a really positive way for what's happening within them. And then what that does is it creates a feedback loop, because then as people start investing in themselves, then there's a payback for that, right? They get a payback for it, and so then it starts actually creating a pattern of empowerment within themselves, because they can start to actually feel in control again, and start to feel safe to open to those unseen parts of themselves.
And what are some things that people can do in their everyday lives to protect their own energy as they go about New York City or wherever?
I don't like to use the word protection because it really is implying that we're in danger.
Yeah.
Right? I need to protect myself from danger. Where instead, I like to think of this idea of actually raising our vibration, so we're not even an energetic match to what we think is dangerous to us.
Well, that's way better.
Yeah, right? And so one of the ways is if you can hold that everything is happening as an opportunity for you to heal and grow instead of something's happening to you, that will automatically shift your energy a lot. Because if we're saying that this is happening to me, the person cut in front of me in traffic, this person did this to me. What you're doing is you're creating a victim relationship with that person or that situation, and you're immediately giving away all your power. Where instead, this is happening for me. There's an opportunity for me to heal and learn here. So then what happens is you keep your energy open, you get to stay in alignment with your divine intelligence, and then move through it. Everything becomes an opportunity instead of something happening to you. And so all of a sudden, there's nothing to protect yourself from anymore because you're not a victim.
So in addition to doing in-person healings, you also do these on the phone. And I have experienced firsthand how powerful that these can be. Actually, equally as powerful as in person. How do you do something so involved, either on phone or on Skype, that you usually do in person?
Well, it's actually easier and better for me to do the work when I'm not in the person's energy field.
Oh.
Right? So Einstein has a saying that says you can't solve a problem with the consciousness that created it. So if I'm in your energy field, I'm in your consciousness. So that means that I have to raise myself, I have to change my frequency so that I'm not in your consciousness, right? It's kind of like the forest through the trees thing. So when you're in the forest, you can only see what's in front of you. So if I'm actually with you in your energy field, then I'm kind of down in the forest with you. Where instead, if there's some distance and I'm not physically in your energy field, then I have a different view. I can kind of look down and see the whole big picture. And I'm not having to kind of battle with your own consciousness, or not your consciousness really, but I don't have to battle with the patterns that are in your system.
Which you experience because you're an empath, correct?
Right. So what I can do is I just have this intense way of being able to feel, right? And so that's what an empath is I'm a feeler. And so wherever I put my attention is where my energy goes. So I mentioned earlier about the astral body, that's what you use to dream. Well, it's also the astral body is what I use to kind of travel to you in a way. And kind of what's happening is it's almost like our energy fields are meeting up in a different dimension, and we're working in that dimension.
It's pretty groovy.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool. So wherever my attention is where my energy goes. So it doesn't matter whether you're in the next room, whether you're down the street, or whether you're on the other side of the world. It doesn't matter. So.
And for those out there who do feel to such an extraordinary degree, can you explain the benefits of being an empath? I think we often, again, going back to having to have a thick skin if you're that person who's very sensitive or cries all the time as a kid, and really discovering the treasure that is there in being an empath.
Well, I think the bigger purpose of the planet right now, like where we're growing, what we're moving into, is a sense of unity, right? So we're all one. So what happens to you on a certain level happens to me. And so when we can feel, when we can experience what other people are going through, then we have a way of relating and understanding better. But what happens is we don't want to lose ourselves in that experience. We don't want to lose who we are. Merging into other people's experiences. We want to be able to feel it so we have a sense of it, so we can keep our heart open and have an idea about how to serve or help that other person or relate to that other person. But we don't want to merge, and that's what happens a lot of times is people don't understand that what they're feeling is not their own. So they feel it and they take it on as their own, and then you end up merging other people with other people's energy fields, or you take on other people's energy and process it your own. That's what I used to do a lot, and I had no idea
it's exhausting.
that I was doing it. Yeah.
And it's probably of people who are having a bad day but don't know why.
Right. Yes.
That type of situation.
Yeah. And how you know is when your mood changes quickly.
Oh.
So if you're, you get up in the morning and you're having a great day and everything's good, and you go to the Starbucks or the Coffee Bean or wherever and get your coffee, and like a minute later you're in a horrible mood.
You picked somebody else's stuff along the way. And how do we shed that? How do we call that out of our system?
Well, one of the things I always do is I ask, is this my energy or somebody else's? And normally now I know, and like I said, if my mood changes really quickly, I know that it's not mine. Because a minute ago, I was happy.
Yeah.
It felt good to be me. But now all of a sudden I'm judgy, or I'm angry, or I'm upset, or I'm sad, or whatever. So I asked myself that question, is it mine or is it somebody else's? And then I just kind of have a sense of knowing about it. And I think everybody does if they'll just take a minute to listen, you know? And then I don't get in agreement with that energy. This is not my energy. This is not my experience. I release it. And I release it back to a person's higher self. I don't release it back to them because I don't want to give them back their muck.
Oh, that's very nice.
I release it to their higher self and let their higher self process it.
Very cool.
I make a choice. Am I going to get in agreement with this energy or am I not going to?
And I love that word, choice.
Right.
And that's a lot of what you talk about all the time, is that ability to choose your experience.
Right.
And that we all have that ability.
Right.
What a delightful thing to have.
So that is a sense of feeling empowered, right? Having a choice, feeling empowered. If you're relating to something as a victim, you're going to feel disempowered. You're going to get caught up and mired in obligation over responsibility, where if you're always relating to something as an opportunity, then you stay open, you stay empowered, and and connected to your choice, that I have a choice here.
And do you have any tips for us on how to keep our energy high throughout the day? Any morning rituals or any specific mantras?
Well, I always use the mantra, I am that I am, which basically is like God or the divine in action, right? So whenever the I am is very popular, or very powerful. So if you say, you know, I am beautiful, I am happy, I am loved, basically it's like God in action. It's the divine in action. It's that energy getting in alignment. Same thing happens because, again, it's just energy. I suck. I am horrible. It's the same thing. Your energy is going to delete, lower, right? But it can be as simple. What I do is if there's a part of me that's triggered, or there's a part of me that I can't raise my own vibration, I choose to send unconditional love to that part of me. And all you have to say is, I am sending unconditional love to the part of me that's grumpy today. I'm sending unconditional love to the part of me that, is unhappy today.
And I love, we've talked about this in past sessions, that you said once you say it, just trust that it's happening.
Right.
Because I know I used to freak out. I'm like, I said it, but I don't know really if it's listening. I don't know. But once you say it, it's done.
And you need to make sure that you're feeling what you're saying. You can't just say it, and you got to make sure that there's intention behind it, there's thought behind it, that it's something that you're feeling.
So with your healing sessions, what's great and makes it so universal is you don't necessarily, it's not religious. It's not a specific, no one needs to be subscribed to Catholicism or, Judaism or Buddhism. It's very open and kind of tailored to the person, correct?
I use the word God. I've done a lot of personal work to kind of reclaim that word, and there's a very specific frequency to G-O-D. But I always check in with my clients, because not everybody's healed around that, and people have, so many atrocities have been done in the name of God, and a lot of people are triggered, and there's wounds around that. So whatever makes people feel comfortable, but really I want people to understand that the divine lives within them, that they are not separate of the divine, that it's actually in there, and it's part of them, it's who they are, and all they need to do is remember.
What a comforting thought.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And guys, for more information and to book your session with Jennifer, head on over to organicwisdom.com. And until next time, stay fancy, fabulous, and fun.